Hey Embers, and welcome to part 8 of my Harvest Moon Back to Nature slow playthrough. So we are on day 14 of spring, year 1. Again, we do 3 days in this episode. So as always, we are checking the weather for the next day, and it's going to be sunny. It is also technically a festival day today. It is the Spring Thanksgiving Festival, where you give cookies to the girls. You cannot do that on your first year, so unfortunately I cannot show you that till at least next year. You do need, a slight spoiler alert, you do need to be able to cook in order to do this festival. And you also need another festival in winter. So here we are saying good morning to Binky the horse. Checking the mailbox as usual, nothing in there. And we're going to speed up here as we usually do, we're just watering the crops. We don't have any harvestable crops today, unfortunately. And we watered half of them. But before we water the rest, we're going to head into the chicken coop. Now this is a mistake. For some reason I decided to ship this copper ore, but the reason I had it was because I was going to upgrade the axe, so we'll see if that gets rectified. So before we continue watering, we're going to go to the mountain, as we do every morning. All I think of is Pinky in the brain when I say that. As we do every morning, Pinky. Try to take over the world. So we're on part 8, you will have noticed this by now of course, but this is what we do pretty much every morning. And there is a reason we're trying to get Anne's heart level up as well, if you know you know. We're not going for Anne as our future wife this playthrough, but there is a reason we're trying to get Anne's heart levels up. And there's definitely more efficient ways than doing that, because I think she's pretty neutral towards flowers. But it's just the easiest way for us to do it. So we've still got this pesky flower in our backpack. Again, I couldn't remember, because today is technically a festival day, if the shop was open or not. But we do need that flower for tomorrow. So to be more efficient, I probably should have checked if the shop was open today. Because with our, I don't know if it's new now, but with our larger rucksack, we could have just done one trip up to the mountains, but because of that pesky flower, we had to do 2. So we're just heading back to get the last one now. So this is another speed up where we just carry off on watering where we left off. And then I'm just checking my money, see what I want to do. And I decide to do some weeding of the farm, which wasn't the best thing to do with my time, but never mind. So I've sped this up as well, while we just weed the whole farm. So I'm figuring out what to do here. And I've decided to go and do a little bit of mining. And again, I've sped up the mining process here. I just feel like you'll see quite a lot of farming and mining, of course, in this playthrough. So I thought I would speed these bits up. I really hope you don't mind that. So you will note that we decided to keep a copper ore because I believe I realised my mistake in shipping the previous copper ore. Obviously, like I mentioned earlier, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to upgrade my axe. So we're just shipping the silver ore that we got. And again, it wasn't a great time to go mining when you have something in your backpack. Obviously, we've got the flour in our backpack. So yeah, I'm just checking, do I want to upgrade the axe? And I decide that I do. So this is our first time in this playthrough that we are actually getting to upgrade a tool. It's really good that we're upgrading our first tool in the first year of spring. We're just checking how much fish food we have as well. I do feel like we've achieved a fair bit thus far, our first year of spring. So I will explain this process to you if you don't know. Actually, I think Saibara explains it as well. That's the blacksmith. So basically, you have to have the tool equipped in your in the correct slot. Then you have to hand him the ore that you want to use to upgrade the tool. So always double check that not only do you have to have the tool on you, but it has to be in the equipped slot. And this takes 3 days, not including festivals. 1,000 Gs I don't think is that bad. And upgrading the axe now will allow us to chop the big logs, the stumps. Not as effective. So in terms of upgrades, you can get the copper upgrade, the silver upgrade, the gold upgrade, and finally the Mistral upgrade. We can only get the copper at the moment. But you will note, I believe the watering can is already at 400. So typically, I think this is for most players, when you go to upgrade your watering can, which you will only really do in winter, I think most people go straight for the Mistral upgrade if they can afford it. So again, I'm speeding up here because we decided to do a little bit more mining. We've got a bit of time. And again, this isn't the most effective when we have something in our backpack, but hey ho, getting a little bit tired. And we got a gold and a Mistral, which is one of the best ores in the game. There is other ore in the winter mine, which we will of course see in winter. But I used to love the Mistral ore because it looked like a flower to me. And of course, as we go on, I don't want to spoil too much, but there are ways to store things like ore. We cannot do it yet. So I'm not sure what we do next. I believe we're going to head out potentially to the shop. No, we're going back into the house. We decide to take the fishing rod out. So I wonder if we'll do some fishing today. Like I say in a lot of these, I pre-record the gameplay that you're seeing and I narrate over it afterwards. So sometimes I've completely forgotten what we've done, so I'm learning along with you guys. Or sort of remembering, I guess. So yes, I believe we're heading out to the shop. I decided to check at Mary's parents' house because it's the only house we haven't been in so far. Now this, I'm going to check if the rival event with Mary and Gray will pop, and it doesn't. Spoiler alert, this event actually happens outside of the library, so all the times that I've gone into the library to get this to pop, of course it didn't work because it's outside of the library. So we're heading into the shop. And we're going to grab some fish food. I believe we had 5. And we get 5 more, making 10. Then we decide while we're here, we'll grab some seeds. So we grab 2 turnip seeds. And that's it today. So now we're heading back home. And what do you know? The rival event with Mary and Gray is here. So I think apart from Potpourri, we have seen all of the rival events for the first year. Now, one thing about me, I have played this game many, many times. I have never actually seen any of the rivals get married in any of my playthroughs, so I'm really hoping to see that at one point. Obviously, that is a spoiler, but that does happen. But I've never seen it. I think the issue is if you get the girls' levels, heart levels too high, they won't. I believe that's right. So I think in previous playthroughs, I've got the girls' heart levels far too high for it. But like I say, apart from Potpourri, I think that is all our rival events for the first year done. So we're heading back home now. And popping back into the house. So again, we're just checking our tools. And we take out the seeds, ready for tomorrow. So it's only 5:30, but I decide that there's nothing else to do today. Probably could have stretched the day out a little bit longer, but I decided to head off to bed. So we are looking at the TV as usual to end off the day. Again, some of these programs can go on for quite some time. But I do think it's quite a nice sign-off for the end of the night. I like it because I don't normally bother with the TV at all for this game. The only thing I bother with is checking the weather. The other programs I don't really bother until a little bit later on, where you do kind of need one of the TV programs. Again, apologies for the background noise there. So I don't really bother with these kind of programs when I'm doing sort of playthroughs on my own. So I thought this was nice because I get to see them too. It's funny that, you know, for the most part, I'm playing this game how I would play it. This seems to be one of the only things that I do differently. I wonder, she's talking about the Spring Thanksgiving Festival as well, which we can't do today. I'm wondering how, because I've never done a gameplay video before, how different it is to just sort of playing on your own. I don't know if most creators just play how they would normally play, or they do things differently. I'm not sure. I try to keep things as similar as I would have them. So we're starting on to day 15 now. Again, we're checking the weather. I hope that made sense. But I don't think I'd change my gameplay too much just because I'm recording it. I like it to be as authentic as possible, you know? Oh, and we are greeted with Mayor Thomas today. So I wonder what Mayor Thomas wants. He's reminding us about the cooking festival on the 22nd, and he's asked if he can have 3 turnips so he can use them for the festival. I mean, I'm going to say yes, Mayor Thomas, but, you know, what if I want to win the cooking festival? Am I helping you? What if that scuppers my chances? So yes, he wants 3 turnips by the 21st. And looking across at our farm, I think we can deliver them to him today. So that's wonderful. So we have, we're just checking our money and everything here. We have our first speed up of the day, just collecting some of the crops. Remembering, of course, that we do still have that pesky flour and we do need to keep 3 turnips for Mayor Thomas. So we're going to fill... No, are we filling our watering can? No, we're not. We're going to feed the fish. And straight up to the mountain to get the harvestables. And again, unfortunately, this is going to take 2 trips because we do have the flour in our backpack. However, we'll be getting rid of that today, I believe. And I also just realised we didn't need to buy the flour on the 13th, because even though the Spring Thanksgiving Festival is a festival, and that means the shop shouldn't be open, as we discovered yesterday, the supermarket was open. So I'll be sure to remember that for next year. So we're giving the flowers to the girls. Anne is still on the first heart, which is the purple colour. And I've realised I've made a mistake. It's Sunday, Potpourri's not here. So that means one less thing can come with us from the mountain. So we have 2 things to collect. So there's a little bit of back and forth thing because of that, but it's not too bad. Hopefully we can get our first farm animal, a chicken, soon. So we decide to dash the flour, I think. Yeah. So we can carry some more stuff. And now we're coming on to our second speed through of the video. Speed up, collecting the crops and watering. And there was a little jump cut there for some reason, I'm not sure why. But I don't think we gathered all of the crops. I don't think we watered everything. So we're taking this, of course, to the Harvest Goddess. And nothing new today. Just thank you for your offering. You're very welcome. I know the Harvest Goddess has a bigger role in future Harvest Moon games. And no, before anyone asks, she is not a secret marriage candidate in this game. She is in other Harvest Moon games, but not this one. So now we're taking the long walk up to Mayor Thomas to deliver his turnips, I believe. We look so funny running with a bamboo over our head. I mentioned this in previous episodes, but when I was a kid I used to call these Shreks. But before we go to Mayor Thomas, why have we got this flower? Because it is one of the Harvest Sprite's birthdays today. So we're just double checking to see whose birthday it actually is. And it's Stade's birthday today. So our second Harvest Sprite birthday of the playthrough. And he's quite happy to receive it. So I will take the pain that it has given me the past 3 days. So continuing on to Mayor Thomas's house now. And this is where a few mistakes were made. I don't know what I'm deciding there, whether to go to the clinic or not. I'm not sure. So we go to see Mayor Thomas, and he's not in. Turns out he's at Ellen's at the moment, but he expressly asked us to deliver the turnips to his house. So I decide to wait at his house for a little bit to see if he shows up. And here he is, he's showing up. Is he turning? Is he turning? No, he's going to the square. So we decide to leave it for a little bit and go back to the farm. We'll come back and give him his turnips when he's at home. Although I've played this game a lot, I've played it since I was a child, I don't always remember everybody's schedules, so I do make mistakes. I hope you can forgive those. So we're going to go ahead and throw these turnips away into the shipping bin because we do have some more. And again, I have sped this up. You can see we're doing the rest of our farming that we didn't get to this morning. the watering can and heading back to Mayor Thomas. And when I was recording this, when I was playing it, I was hoping it wasn't too late because I did not want to be carrying those turnips around a second day. So did I make it in time? Yes, I did. And that concludes another random event, which is nice. And he's giving you a hint. If you have a kitchen, you can cook for the cooking festival. So at this point, I think we head back to the farm. We should have been paid when we get back to the farm. So back on the farm, I don't think we've said hello to our horse today. So I think we're looking for our horse, and there he is. Give him a little brush and say, "Hi, Binky." So again, I do another speed up here. My time could have been served better, as I've said, but I decided to weed the farm again for the second time this episode. I'm not entirely sure why. It's what I just decided to do. Again, time probably would have been served better elsewhere. So we're now heading back to the house. And I decided to call it another early night. So here we are watching the television. He's talking about the horse race this time, which we're getting pretty close to in this playthrough, our first horse race. And the shogi hour, we've had this a few times. Shogi must be a game, I've never heard of it, so I'm assuming it's Japanese. You'll have to let me know if you know what shogi is. It seems similar to chess because they're talking about pawns. I'm not sure, I've never heard of shogi before. So if you know, let me know. And of course, ending it with good old Farmer Fran, who I feel like we are best friends with at this point. So they're still talking about fishing. Once again, because I haven't said it this playthrough, this channel is really for if you haven't played the game before. It's just explaining some of the game mechanics to you. And like I said in a previous episode, I didn't realise until this playthrough that it is Farmer Fran with a puppet. I thought Jimmy was a real person. Jimmy's a puppet. So again, taking the dog, as we always do, off to bed. And I have mentioned it again in a previous playthrough, but if you take the dog to bed, his hearts go up a lot quicker. So we're going on to our final day of this particular recording, and that is the 16th. Again, nice sunny day tomorrow, heading straight out. And this time we're greeted by May. So we have been really lucky with these random events. Now bless her, May is bored. She's asked if she can milk a cow. May, I'm afraid we are poor and we haven't been able to afford a cow yet. We don't even have a chicken. So she's really upset. She's getting told off because she's bored. Bless her. Now, you have two options here, go to church or go see Ellen. Now, from memory, I picked go to church because I believe that is the right thing to do. And you'll see why in a minute. I cannot remember off the top of my head what happens if you pick go see Ellen. Cannot remember at all. But this, I believe, is the right option because it alters not only May's schedule, but here he is, it alters Sue's as well. Stu's. I said Sue. Stu's. He's bored as well, bless him. So from this point forward, May and Stu will play together outside of the church. Again, I can't remember what happens if you pick go see Ellen, but I'm pretty sure this is the right thing to do. And if it's the wrong option, they get to play with each other at the church, so why not? So the only downside to that random event is it did take you to the church, so you do have to make the long slog back to your farm. You do lose a bit of time doing that. So we decided to go this way so we can pick up some of the harvestables on the way. I personally think that time should be fully stopped for those kind of random events, but never mind. There are some events, I'm not going to say which, don't want to spoil it, that take half a day, pretty much all your day, so that's not ideal, but never mind, eh? So again, we're going to grab some harvestables while we're here. Just checking how much room we have left. And on our way out, here come the girls, as they say. So let's give them the flowers, eh? Potpourri still at a purple heart there. And Anne is purple as well. So very slow progress, but progress nonetheless. And it does mean, fortunately, that we can pick up everything from the mountain this time. I think this is the first or second time we've actually been able to do this since having the upgraded backpack. I'm not sure. But I was raving about how, oh, the upgraded backpack means you only need to do one trip. Yeah, that's not been going so well. So that's our usual morning routine done and dusted. Obviously we went round a different way today. And we're having to head out before doing any farm work. Because it is actually somebody else's birthday today. So it was Stade's birthday yesterday, and it is Ellie's birthday today. Now, one of Ellie's favourite things is flowers. We took a wrong turn, but we decided to speak to Gops while we're here. And because we used the 2 moondrop flowers for Anne and Potpourri today, we are having to take a longer walk to grab a flower for Ellie, not Ellen, Ellie. And look, because the library is closed today, we have Mary and her mum and dad up here looking for plants because her father is a herbalist called Basil. I'm sure you could have guessed that. So we grab Ellie's flower, and while we're here, we might as well grab one for Potpourri tomorrow as well, seeing as she prefers those white flowers to the yellow ones. Something we could have been doing from the start of the playthrough to get her heart level up quicker, but that also takes up a lot of time, so we didn't do that. So I believe we head back to the farm now. Yes, we do. Gonna feed the fish. And onto another speed up here where I water. And our potatoes have grown in today, so we have something to harvest. Wonderful. So we are going to head off and give Ellie her birthday present. We haven't finished with the farm yet, as you saw. Just checking if our axe is done yet, and of course it's not. It is done tomorrow. So I just want to take a quick moment while we're on our way to Ellie's to say thank you ever so much for your continued support with this playthrough. I'm sorry that this episode is a little bit longer. I do try to keep them under 40 minutes, and this one is under 40 minutes just. But I do think this is probably one of the longest episodes we've had so far. So Ellie now has a purple heart as well. And while we're here, we're going to pop into the supermarket. I think we do need another bag of potatoes. There's definitely enough time in spring to do some more potatoes. And I think that's all we buy today. But while we're here, we stop and talk to Karen. She's still at a black heart. And because we got Ellie finally to purple, our heart event for Ellie has just popped. This is our second one, I believe. So the correct answer here is fun. So I think at this point we've done all of the first heart events for the bachelorettes, and I think it's just Mary that we need the second heart event for. I can't quite remember. No third heart events yet though. I think there's 3 for each girl. But the fact that we've got so many done on the 16th of spring, I'm not going to complain at that. So what are we doing here? We're turning. We're not going back to the farm. We're going to the poultry farm. But we've already seen Potpourri today, right? So why are we going to the poultry farm? Going to speak to Potpourri's mother, our future mother-in-law, eh? Why? The time has not come to buy a chicken, has it? Oh my goodness, we're buying our first chicken. Yay! Only took 16 days. And we decide to name this chicken Pon, because if you remember Potpourri's first heart event, she was very upset because a chicken she left out called Pon died. So in honour of Potpourri, we decided to name, well, in honour of Pon, I suppose, we decided to name our first chicken Pon. So of course we have to buy some chicken feed. We end up getting 10 units, I think. So it's only took 16 days for our farm to have any farm life on it, any farm animals. So now we have a chicken, a dog, and a horse. I cannot believe it. Our first chicken. So excited. So this is a good time to talk about our spring goals, of course, for the first year of spring. Our first one was to get the larger backpack upgrade, which we did. And then to enlarge the hen house, which we haven't done yet. And to get a chicken. So we are close to finishing our spring requirements that we've set upon ourselves. So a bit of a speed up there because we did a little bit of farming. But we realised that we haven't taken a crop to the Harvest Goddess today, so we decided to go ahead and do that. Yes, so I think our last goal for spring is to get the hen house done. The first upgrade. No, the only upgrade, sorry, for the hen house. I think it's the only upgrade. Yeah, I think it only goes up once. So after giving our plant to the Harvest Goddess, our potato, sorry, we decide to go and see our chicken. And there she is. There's Pon, our little hen. And this is how you feed the chicken. Now, again, you can have your animals outside in this game. There are lots and lots of things you can do. You can make an enclosure. And if you leave the chickens outside, they will provide for themselves. They will feed themselves. We have another speed up here, just cleaning up on the farm. They will feed themselves if you leave the chickens outside. However, there is a possibility that they will get attacked by wild dogs and killed. So, I don't know how, if you play Harvest Moon Back to Nature, I don't know how you play it. We're finally saying hello to our horse. For me, I keep the dog inside at all times. The horse only goes in when it's raining, and I do keep the chickens, the cows and the sheep inside as well. So I'm sorry if that's boring for you. Maybe we'll experiment and bring them out every once in a while in this playthrough. But how I normally play is I keep them inside. Because I don't want any of my animals to die. So I'm not entirely sure what we're doing. I think we decide to head to the inn. So yes, there are different ways to play this game. Even though it's kind of linear, there are different ways to play it. So we're heading to the inn. And I forgot that Anne's heart event hadn't popped yet. So here we are with Anne's second heart event. She's not very happy. I think she's had an argument with her father. Oh, Dad told me to hurry up and marry. That's not very nice. Can you imagine me getting married? And of course the right answer here is yes, I can. Unfortunately, Anne, for this playthrough, it won't be with me. But I have married Anne before in previous playthroughs. So yes, we'll explain more about the mechanics with sheep and cows as we get there, because of course you can do a little bit more with them. The chickens, you feed them every day. Again, that's done with chicken feed. If you have corn, you can use that to feed them. You have to put the corn into the silo and that will make chicken feed. Or you can have them outside and they will fend for themselves. They produce an egg once a day, unless you forget to feed them, in which case they don't. And you can sell that egg. You can cook with that egg, once you can cook. Or you can... There are a few things. Maybe I'll keep them for the next time. So we're rounding off the playthrough here for this week. And again, apologies if it upsets anyone that I'm keeping my animals indoors. I do not condone that, of course, for real life. But for this game, I don't want my animals to die, so they'll probably be staying indoors for the majority of the time. I'm sorry if that upsets you. So this is a good time to round it off as we're watching TV, as always. So thank you very much for watching this week's playthrough. I hope you come back next week. And again, I hope you don't mind 3 days instead of 2 days per episode, or even 1 day per episode, because it would just take far too long. So if I can, I am putting 3 or more days into each part from now on. So I hope that's okay for you guys. But I really don't want this playthrough to go on for years and years. It's going to go on for quite a while, but I don't want it to go on for, incredibly long. So, as always, thank you very, very much for watching. Like I say, I hope that you continue to enjoy this playthrough as much as I continue to enjoy recording it. So until next time, bye Embers.